We're broadcasting LCS Radio today
from Lansing, Michigan.
What is that? Go ahead.
That is the Supreme Court building, broadcasting from Lansing, Michigan. Lansing.
Woo!
What's that building over there?
No one cares. We don't know what it is, so it doesn't matter.
Who's got this corner office right here?
Oh, that's Mike Flanagan, the guy that we just interviewed. No, that we're about to interview. LCSradio.com, broadcasting from Lansing, Michigan.
Live.
We're back a week later with Always Correct on LCSradio.com with the second half of the interview with Mike Flanagan, the state superintendent for the state of Michigan. Welcome back.
Thank you. I happen to be wearing the same tie a week later. It's amazing.
Amazing coincidence.
I only have this shirt.
Yeah.
I bathe in the river next to my house.
Down by the river.
Yes. Next to a van. All right.
We're going to be doing Chris Farley things here in a minute.
Just quote the whole sketch.
All right. I want to talk about trimesters. I know that. Is it the entire state?
Well,
switching?
Our district has gone to trimesters because of high school reform. We thought it might work out better for us.
Right.
So maybe.
All right. So, do you know about trimesters? Are you aware how it works? All right.
I'd hope so.
All right.
What do you think about trimesters? Like, how would it help students in the school?
There's, in my mind, two issues about trimesters. That the positive of trimesters is that you have an opportunity sooner that if someone's not kind of getting it, they haven't gone a whole semester. So algebra is kind of a controversial point that supposedly all kids can't learn algebra. I don't agree with that, by the way. I think almost all kids can. We might have to try different approaches. But, so in a trimester, you could go back and you're not waiting a whole semester. You're back in trying part of Algebra 1 again. The one problem I have with some of the trimesters, and there's a lot of different models, is some of them are so much or less time. And to do what we call the course content expectations, it's kind of a definition of algebra. It takes time.
Right.
So, you wouldn't want to trade off. You wouldn't want to use one of the trimester models that trades off so much time that you really can't get it done. I have a very respected biology teacher on one of our advisory committees, and he's very concerned because their trimester model, which isn't maybe the one you have, it's just he can't get his stuff in. But in a way, I said, well, then make the argument that you need all 3 trimesters for your 1 credit of biology. There's nothing saying it couldn't be that.
Right.
Broken into 3 pieces. So it can work, and I think it's up to districts to decide what's best for their own. I'm supportive of both.
Okay. Well, switching topics, I was reading the news last week that we got the MEP results back for our state, and that for almost every class except that would be 5th graders, math scores went up.
Right.
But reading and writing scores have gone down.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
Do you know how you did individually with Lapeer?
Not yet.
No, not yet. We
Okay.
haven't got them back.
We did better than our county. So we improved a little bit. We had less poor areas. So we improved a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be positive and celebrate the stuff that's gone well, like the math, because I do think teachers are working hard and principals and others, and we've made progress overall. Reading and writing is harder. It's a harder one to get hold of. But even the ones that we've done well on, if you get to like statewide, from my perspective, I mean, I've got to think about all 2 million students, and if we're at 70% proficiency, what worries me is we still have 600,000 kids that aren't proficient. I'm generalizing to make a point. If you were at 70% proficiency for 2 million kids, and that's not acceptable. They're not. You can't make it anymore.
Yeah.
The old days, you'd get a nice job on the line if you wanted. You didn't really have to do too well in school. But
Right.
It's all over, and I hope people that you're involved with in not only your podcast but your other work get it. That you've got to have high levels of achievement, or you can't make it anymore.
What factors do you think might account for the lower reading and writing scores?
Reading and writing they're all pretty much statistically, within the range if you look at it. It's just some of this takes time to kick in. We've got reforms and they don't happen overnight. There's teacher training involved. I just spoke at a Michigan State forum just before this with professors from Michigan State, and I really challenged them and said, you can make all the difference in the world, because if you train teachers properly, the rest takes care of itself.
Right.
And the pipeline starts to change, and part of that has to do with your earlier topic on technology. Most professors don't know enough about how, through no fault of their own, they're kind of my age, but they don't get how to infuse technology in lesson plans, so therefore the teachers they're teaching don't know how to do that.
Right.
And it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And so be it.
Yeah.
Not sure where I was going with that.
It's hard to introduce new technology and reforms from the bottom, because the people at the top just keep saying the same old thing. That's why we don't have a lot of reforms in education.
I'm not saying the same old thing. So I'm with you guys.
Yeah.
I know I'm off camera. I just want to comment though that change is hard. I mean, you talked about change, and like our district, we're going through huge change.
Mm-hmm.
We're changing the curriculum. We're changing just about everything in the district, and it's tough. And we'll see that work out in the next 2 or 3 years. I think you'll start to see those grades go up.
Yeah,
that's why I see
think
it.
that's a good.
Yeah, people want instant feedback also, and it's hard,
especially in America.
And it's hard because you do reforms in elementary school, you may not see the effects until they're in high school.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm trying to draw. I can't think of a great athletic analogy because we're so culturally oriented towards that. But for instance, with the Tigers at 0-7 right now, even though they bought all these players, they haven't improved. It takes time, I guess. I don't know what.
They play baseball, from what I understand.
Yeah. But you know what I mean?
That's with the big orange ball, right?
Right.
Bounces
right
into the goal. I don't know, but
right.
yeah.
But I mean, we're culture immersed to a fault in that, and that's one of our problems in our high schools. I think if you look at kind of this mindset, it's in TV, it's everywhere, where we worship almost the Final Four. And yet, I wonder about how many of those kids who are in the Final Four they're not going to, most of them are not going to make the pros. And then what are they going to do? Have they gotten a solid education to back up, but it's not as glamorous, it's not as sexy. That's a change we need to make.
Yeah, it's hard kids don't idolize like scientists like they would maybe in the 60s when the space program was going on. Everyone wanted to be an astronaut.
We were all in fear of nuclear annihilation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exact. In fact, I still have this watch, and on the back of this watch, kid who was going to be an astronaut here, but his eyes went a little early, is flight certified by NASA for the manned space mission, and this is one of 1,000 that were made. The first watch worn on the moon. Now it's not literally the one, but they made 1,000 of these. They gave one to, what's his name from Ohio?
John Glenn.
Jeez.
Neil Armstrong?
Neil Armstrong. Yeah. How can I? My gosh. Good thing I'm not taking the MEEP.
Speaking of the MEEP, the first question on there was... No, this was actually the MME. The first question, what don't you throw away? Tomatoes, rocks, sticks, or leaves?
Yeah, and you're sorting tomatoes, which don't you throw away. Yeah.
This was on the ACT portion?
No, the MME portion of the... ACT
We're going to bring you down to the second floor here and have you talk to the MME guys on your way out.
Do they
bring tomatoes?
Do they do the MMEs in this building?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we bring you to their PhD psychometricians downstairs they're the guys who actually emulated, non-athletes.
Yeah. So
they're
they are
smart
out there.
people. We can bring you down there. Seriously, we'll find a real one.
That'd be interesting, actually.
But why don't we do that on the way out? I don't think Joseph's in this week, but I'm sure some of the other guys.
We take all these tests, the ACTs, the MMEs, and we don't know anything about the people who write them.
Yeah, I mean the ACT is nationally done,
but
the wraparound questions and then all the MME, or I'm sorry, all the MEEP that's elementary, we do here. We're bringing more in. We're contracting less out. We're going to hire a few more psychometricians. We haven't in the past because they're hard to get.